Sweet. Are we ready? Okay. So this is a video about general disadvantage and how to make your disadvantage better. I'm making this for a friend, but this will apply to most people and most things, is my intention. So to start, what is disadvantage? Well, disadvantage is kind of a catch-all. So there was a YouTube coach. His name was Meta of Smash Tricks, and he talked about the 7 phases of the game. Those being neutral, which was kind of neutral, where neither player really has an advantage. Uh, Edge guarding, where one player is coming back to the stage and the other one is edge guarding them, right? So it's recovery and edge guarding. Being edge guarded and being the edge guard right? That's a two-sided one. Then you have ledge trapping and corner pressure. Those go hand in hand because when you're ledge trapping somebody, let's say they jump. If you don't actually immediately punish that jump, or say they neutral get up and you don't immediately punish that neutral get up and they're just stuck in the corner, are they in a good position? I think the answer is no. So generally, corner pressure and ledge trapping go hand in hand, and that also serves the purpose of in neutral. If you give up stage positioning, it's just bad, right? Like if you give up your positioning, you are now in a disadvantageous position. You're in disadvantage because you gave up position. And the same with one person is landing or if they're stuck on a platform and they need to get off of the platform. Because Ultimate does not have shield drops, which is a technique from older Smash games where you could literally, from shield, just drop through the platform instantly without lag. And it was very useful, and it's not in this game. So getting off platform can be tricky. Not only that, you also have uh, the sticky platforms that Ultimate has. The trick to that, by the way, is you can't buffer dropping through a platform. You have to time it. Um, just like how neutral and advantage each require a different approach and a different way to express creativity and use your movement, the same is true for disadvantage. This is entirely true. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see, does that do it? Yeah. So here I have Sephiroth, and something he can do is he can B reverse his neutral B, right? So he can B reverse it and cancel it into a jump, right? And if he has wing, like basically like if I'm landing right here, where am I gonna land, right? I could go straight down, I can go straight to the left, I can go to the right, I can fake going left and then B reverse, I can fake going right, B reverse, I can mix in any and all sorts of those things, I could fast fall air dodge, I can land with any amount of aerials at so many different spacings. Like this is, kind of a tricky position to juggle Sephiroth because of just the raw amount of options he has. As long as you realize that those options are available to you. And something that I will add here is it's very important to mix up your air drift as well as your fast fall and slow falls. I remember back in the day, like if you were learning Melee, they would always teach you to always practice your shuffles, which is short hop, fast fall, L canceled aerials. Which is usually good, right? It's faster, you're putting out more attacks per second, you're always doing something. That's generally a good thing to do in that game. But the issue is that in the current meta, or at least in the last 10 years, it's hard to differentiate them sometimes. the slow fall mix-up is becoming increasingly important. Not only that, you also have the tomahawk mix-up, right? Where you land and grab somebody, right? Where it's like, I'm up here and then you can land. And like, you can fastball it, right? So, and you could do something like that. Or say if you're Little Mac, you could do like a tomahawk KO punch, where if I have KO punch and I'm up here, and say I don't know, I'm scared to hit Little Mac for some reason. Little Mac could instead just fastball KO punch you, right? That's something that he could do. So, back to the thing. But that is just something to keep in mind, is that neutral is different from advantage, right? When you have somebody in a bad spot, you need to change your approach to the game, change how you cover options. And there is a good Mars video. I'll put the link in the description. I have it in like my playlist of things that I think everybody should know. But he talks about just how if you just try to chase people when they're up in the air, it makes it difficult, because what if they just air dodge through and all of a sudden the tables are turned, right? Where you're in the air and they're on the ground juggling you, right? So when you're juggling somebody and you have good advantage, it's not like it's a true combo. And that's something that I think is very important about these 7 phases of the game, is that none of these is being in a combo, which is a pretty important part of the game, right? Like, say Ken hits you and now you're in the combo, right? Like, that's obviously a part of the game, right? The issue is that, like, once you're out of the combo, it becomes just disadvantage. That's part of why most people kind of lump everything together, because sometimes it's hard to tell if I'm getting out of a combo or getting out of the corner or trying to land all at once, because it's Terry, it's Ken, it's Sora, it's Bayonetta. It could be all these characters that have these combos, and say you are in a combo and it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta get out, I'm gonna air dodge. Uh, they're waiting for that air dodge and then they continue the combo, and it's like, well, why exactly did that happen? What I'm trying to say is that when you're in a combo, it's not exactly the same as all of these. So that's kind of a different thing entirely. So stuff like combo DI, all that stuff, that is a different subject, I would argue. Then you have the 5 layers of awareness, and this one is one I've thought of today, where you have different people and they're thinking at different Yomi levels, as they say. So layer 0 is they do nothing and there's no thoughts or actions. And this is all like from the perspective, or that you are doing nothing. Like, this is from your first person's perspective in disadvantage, right? So when I say you, I mean the person that is in a bad spot. So a good example of layer 0 is when they do nothing, there's no thoughts, no actions. So that would be times where, say, somebody gets hit by a move and then they don't really DI, they don't really tech, they don't really pick an option, so you could just hit them with a dash attack into a dash attack. Like, you'll see this every so often. Because, I don't know, they just didn't do anything. Different people are ready for different layers of awareness. For example, my little brother, he plays Little Mac. He's always going to be ready for that layer 0, because he practices against the Little Mac CPU when you're in the Elite Smash training room, right? And that guy isn't going to double jump. He's not going to attack. He's just going to land down to the ground more often than not. So that's what he's ready for. Layer 1 is when they're only doing the good option, looking at the self. So this ties into layer 2 a lot as well. But layer 1 is basically just choosing your best option. So in this game here, say I get hit by Peach, right? I get hit by, I don't know, Forward Smash, right? Oh wait, I'm at okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. I get by this, and I like F the DI in. But I nair at a disadvantage, right? And I nair because I just wanted to get out of tumble fast. I just wanted to do my escape option. A better example of that would probably be Snake's grenade. It would probably be like Luigi down B, like these frame one invincible options that don't really have a downside. Like Marth up B, I wouldn't really consider one of them just because, you know, after up B, you're in free fall. So things that you can cancel, things that are low commitment, things that are just generally good, hard to challenge. I'd say those are very good examples of like textbook layer one, just doing the good option, looking at the self. Like, what is my character's best tool? That is layer one. So, layer two is looking at them, which is the guy in advantage, and deciding what's best. So, say I'm being comboed, I'm Snake. And I'm like, okay, well, this nest just hit me, and he's about to hit me again, so I'm just going to pull out a grenade. It doesn't have to be Ness, it can be like any character. It could be like Mario, right? So Snake pulls out the grenade. Mario hits him. Grenade goes off. Snake got what he was looking for, right? So this is where people that only care about the meta are, and what that means is, I have this whole spiel. I think the meta is completely overrated. If you look at just in general, like what the meta of the game is right now, it's like, oh well, you have these top tiers, you have all this really good disadvantage. You have all of like, well, this is your best option here. This is where people are when they say that. They're at layer two. They're looking at the opponent and deciding what's best, whether it's looking at the opponent's options or looking at their options. They're kind of looking at things at face value, I think. Like they're not looking at what the metagame is. Uh, I'd say that is where people are that do that. uh like I will minecart because it's good. Like in a lot of bad spots, Steves are gonna throw out minecart because it has crazy armor, it has crazy advantage on hit. Even if it doesn't hit, the opponent usually has to take crazy evasive actions to not get hit by this, unless it's like Min Min who could just use her arms or something, you know? Like most characters have to do crazy things to get around minecart and when Steve is in disadvantage. So it's like hardly even disadvantage. Like, but that's layer two. That's a great example of layer two, where it's I will minecart because it is good. Uh, but it can also be layer one. Like the only difference between layer one and layer two, I think, is the intent behind the layers. Whether it's you're looking at yourself or you're looking at them. Uh, Layer three is looking at how they would look at you to decide what's best. So this is kind of like a little bit more into psychology, I guess, where it's this is like more metagaming it, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna look at you and try to figure out what you want to do against me, right? So another example for this would be Luigi. So Luigi down B is invincible from frames 1 through 5, and then the first hitbox is on frame 9. So something that the keen observer will realize is that on frames 6, 7, and 8, he has no invincibility and no hitbox. So realistically, you can hit him on frames 6, 7, 8, or 9. Uh, Frame 9, because if you trade with like a weak hit of a multi hit, like that's entirely in your favor. Or even if you have disadvantage, like or a disjoint, like a sortie up air or something, you can end up just spacing and hitting him through that, and you can't really trade with aerials. So layer three, a good example of that would be from the perspective of the guy comboing Luigi. Layer one on Luigi would be I'm going to down B. Layer two would be Luigi looking at you and it's like, okay, he's gonna go up and hit me, so I'm gonna down B. And then layer three is you looking at that situation, realizing, oh, Luigi wants to down B, so doing like the specific Luigi down B counterplay, which would be to wait a couple frames, where you get around those first few invincibility frames. That's like a good situation or a good descriptor of that, in my opinion. And then number 4 is looking at the situation as a whole. So a good example for this would probably still be Luigi, where uh, okay, Luigi's in disadvantage. What can he do? So the first thing Luigi can do is he can down B, right? But he doesn't have to down B. He can nair. Nair is frame 3, and nair might beat that like Marth up air, Ike up air. Not because it's faster, but because it beats them waiting, right? It does these certain things. He could also jump. That's something he could do. He could do all these other aerials. Maybe he down airs. Maybe he does a forward air because it has less lag. Maybe he's going to air dodge. You know, like that is the situation as a whole. Like, what options does Luigi have here? And then another thing to this is it's more than just the options, it's also just the innate things to the character. So this is where Luigi, again, is a good example because Luigi has very bad airspeed. So from that perspective, let's see. Let's switch back to the game. From here, like say Luigi is right here. Where is Luigi's threat range realistically? If Sephiroth is Luigi, so Luigi's gonna have good airspace, right, or airspeed. So pretty much directly below Luigi is pretty bad. I guess if he's getting close to the ground, he can do like Fireball or Fair or landing Zair, and those would all be really good options. But for the most part, it's directly below Luigi because it's not like he can like jump, like it's not like he can be over here and threaten over here like Sephiroth can, right? So it's a lot weirder where it's like even Sephiroth without using a sword has like good range, like because he has this. Even if he has like wing, he gets more airspeed, right? So it's like he's up here, he can still threaten you with nair. Whereas Luigi, like he'd be holding forward all the way and he'd be like here, maybe. I don't know. Like if he's right there. You know what I'm saying. Let's see. But yeah, that's like the long and short of like the situation as a whole, is looking at the character and what you can do. And that's kind of like taking a step back, and that's in my opinion what layer 4 is. While layer 5 is looking at how the opponent is also seeing level 4. And this is what, in my opinion, the metagame is. This is important for a few reasons. The biggest reason being like just past situations where it's like, okay, right off the bat, like if they understand the situation well, like they know the matchup, they know how things go, that is going to help a lot because all of a sudden you have all these mix-ups. And this is where stuff like min down air become good options, because to start they weren't. It's like a like min down air is like a -20 -25 move on shield. Like you can punish that with whatever you want. uh there might be certain specifics about it, like the landing hitbox, that might trip people up, but for the most part, it's not good, even if they aren't ready for it, because it's just not good. It doesn't start combos. It doesn't really do all that much. It doesn't have crazy range. It's reactable, but it becomes good when you look at the situation as a whole. Because what are Min's other landing options, right? You have landing armed, you have the quick nair, you have the landing nairs, you can jump to platform, choose something defensive. But for the most part, it's like, okay, when Min is above me, she only has one way to threaten me, and that would be down air. So a lot of people are just going to straight up disregard it. So at level 5, that's how you can kind of, okay, if you're going to take the high road, I'm going to take the low road. And if you're going to take the low road, then I'm going to take the high road. And you can do all these different things. And this is all these important, all of these concepts are very important to know. before we get into some of the Sephiroth replays where we just kind of focus on disadvantage. But that is like just the general ideas going into it. And like that, you know, if they're going to go one way, then you're going to go the other way. That is the general idea of what you want to do. That's also considered conditioning. There's a whole bunch of different ways to look at it. So a good example would be like from the ledge. Like enough with like the landing example. But say you're on the ledge. Or say I'm on the ledge. I'm Min. And a very good Min ledge option is to drop down, double jump, and then throw out smash attacks because she can do smash attacks in the air. And this is good. It covers a good range. It punishes them for standing at roll distance. It's very threatening. It's a scary, strong move, and it's good range. And if they block it, it's kind of hard to directly punish it. Uh, can it be punished? Yes. You can jump over the arms, you can block it, you can, if you're a short character, just stand under the arms. Like Young Link, I've had my smash attacks go above Young Link's head. Like that's its own thing. But that's only one layer, right? Another layer would be me picking the safe option, which would be ledge jump. Ledge jump is inherently the best option because it has the least amount of lag. It's the fastest, it's unreactable, and you can act pretty instantly, right? So, say Min does ledge drop, forward smash a couple times. Now it's like, okay, now I have to respect these options. All of a sudden, once you start respecting these options, Min can start going for ledge jump nair, for example, where that is like one of her safest ledge options, period. And all of a sudden, she's not in disadvantage anymore because she played that 50-50 high road, low road type deal. And that kind of ties into intent. So I have written here, while you can and should have reversals in your kit, it should not be what your disadvantage is built on. You can only threaten so much, and if they don't respect you, then you should do more than threaten. Uh, and that's basically the example I just gave, where you need to know that you are threatening in disadvantage. You shouldn't be risky. You shouldn't be, I don't know, putting yourself in a situation where if whatever you do doesn't work out, you die. Like that isn't what you want to do, especially when you're already in a bad spot like disadvantage. Instead, when you're in disadvantage, you need to express your creativity, like flex that creativity a little bit, because there's so many things you can do, even in a bad spot. You can still do a lot of safe options. There's still a lot of good mix ups. There's still a lot of ways to get around people reacting to what you do. Uh, as well as just ways to just mitigate your situation. Like, for example, up here, while being in the corner is not a good spot, it's still considered a disadvantage. Being in the corner is better than being on the ledge, right? Like on the ledge, you only have like 5 or 6 options, but in the corner, you have all of your grounded options. You have access to shield, you can jump, you can do whatever your heart desires. You're on the ground. You're in disadvantage. You don't have stage control, so you don't have as much control as you would in neutral or as much as you would in any sort of disadvantage, but it's a step up, in my opinion. So basically, sorry, I lost my train of thought. That is just the general idea. Like, to use the game example again, something that Sephiroth can do, especially if he has wing, is on ledge. He can do like this double jump, drop down, double jump fair, and then like triple jump fair, or he could do like, sorry, I'm messing up. This up B, right? And it covers like a pretty good space, and he can do it quite a few times, right? And then like from here, you can actually like mix it up where it's like, okay, I'm actually gonna go on stage, or you know, you can do a lot of things with this. And like there's different ways to like mix up the like the blue arrow when you do an up B. Like I'm pretty sure you can like use your C stick at the last second. Yeah. So mix it up. I'm trying to get it with the charged up B. It's a little harder. There, I got it. But that's like the general gist of it, right? Where it's like if Sephiroth's on the edge, you can punish, like you have so much creativity. And he actually has a really good ledge hang, so in a lot of situations, he's fine re-grabbing the ledge because they have to specifically find a way to threaten this, which is like an amazing, amazing ledge hang. Let's see. Let me actually look at Sephiroth's ledge hang. Yeah, it's so good. Like look at this. This is so far below the ledge that like most things won't hit you, and most things that do hit you are not going to be strong. They're going to be like weaker moves, or like very specifically things that hit below ledge. Like right, like very select things will hit this, or things that are in the air, things like runoff aerials, like runoff back air would hit Sephiroth, right? So this is a very, very privileged ledge hang just because of how safe it is, you know? So like generally being on the ledge is really not that bad of a situation. Like I think we could actually see it in game with the let's see. Yeah, like we can see that blue on his arm is the highest that his hitbox is reaching. We could have seen that in the other thing, but that is the general gist of it, is that this is such a good ledge hang. Forgot what I was saying. So like that in combination with the fact that with Wing he has triple jump, with the fact that he has like this arm or the up B stall, like if I do this, how are you punishing this? Like you jump and I hit you for it, right? Like if I do this and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm gonna jump and then like hit him for re-grabbing, it's like, okay, well instead I'm gonna go up and hit you. Or whatever, you know? Or better yet, he could just... I don't know. Like, there's so many different options you can do. And obviously, like, he's not... Like, you shouldn't be doing this if you're gonna get punished for it, right? Or you could do, like, this fair. Specifically a landing fair. Drop down, double jump, landing fair. Or even, like, nair. Because it covers you a little bit, and then it's, like, a little bit safer. I don't know. You can do whatever you want. I'm not your dad. So that is generally the reasoning behind intent is that you should have reversals, and if they're not respecting you, then you should absolutely just be throwing it out. Like, you know, like, oh, you're not respecting me. Yeah, sure, get hit, idiot. But at the same time, you need to have more than just reversals. You need to, in my opinion, first rely on your basic ledge options. And in my opinion, again, the best way to get off ledge, like I would say like, oh, that was a very good way of getting off ledge, is if they just don't attack. Like if you can get off ledge without throwing out a hitbox, that's a success. And this is just a rule for the game in general, is that you should be using your movement more than you should be using your attacks. Movement is key in this game, especially for a character like Sephiroth, who has such good movement. Not just his short hop, but also just his movement stats. His attacks, while they can be laggy, they really do complement his movement very well, while the opposite isn't always true. Like, your movement can complement your moves, your attacks at times, but for the most part, like your attacks are going to be complementing your movement a lot better, and that's what you should be focusing on a lot more. Not just in neutral or advantage or disadvantage, but just all over. Like this is a character where you should be moving first before like you know what you know what I mean. Like movement should always come first with this character. Obviously there's times where you can just, don't have to worry about movement, but yeah, that's the point. Next is let's see. I kind of skipped over focus, but that's kind of what I was talking about where like what is a good uh way to get out of disadvantage, and if I can get out of disadvantage without throwing out an attack, that was good because the thing about attacks is they have startup, they have end lag, they have active frames, they have cancel windows, they have all these things, right? And if you don't attack, that's so much less you have to worry about, right? I had this really bad habit for a long time where I would always land aggressively. I would always land with Nair, I would always land throwing out Min Min's arms or with a down air or whatever I could. Or just whatever, right? I would be always landing aggressively, landing with options. And something that I did that really helped me get out of that funk was just not doing that. Like you don't have to throw out attacks. Like that's not something you have to do. Like ever. Very rarely is it actually ever a quote unquote good option. But again, that goes in hand with intent, where you should have reversals and you should be able to threaten those reversals. And if they don't respect you, you should do more than just threaten them. You should be using them. But it goes hand in hand, where that's kind of like predicated on them, on their actions, on their thoughts, and what you're interpreting how they're playing. I'm getting too deep in this, but you get what I'm saying. Then you have character specifics. This is pretty obvious and things that you learn with matchup, or maybe just by playing better or worse players or something. Like, say I have a problem with a player that is pretty decidedly quote unquote worse than me, right? Like they're not making top eights at locals. They're not doing as good as they could. Like usually you beat them, but in this one very specific situation, they're kind of like beating you, and it's like, oh geez, I can't even contest that. Like I'm up in the air against Palutena. I'm playing Link. It's like, okay, well I can just down air and slow fall, and then nothing can beat me. But Palutena up air beats Link's down air. It's like, oh dang, maybe I shouldn't do that. Or if I'm playing Link against Lucina, okay, sweet, time to get my landing nair. Uh, but Lucina up tilt beats Link's nair. Or like even Isabel up tilt is actually a very good anti air. And again, it's like very basic stuff. Like, oh, if they have an anti air, maybe you shouldn't land on them. Or if you rely a lot on left right mix ups, maybe don't do that against Ken or Terry or Ryu or Kazuya. Like don't do that to characters that can very confidently cover both sides of themselves. Uh, or something, right? And there's so many more. There's so many more. Like against Mario, you don't want to jump because in certain spots because you'll get hit by a forward air and die at like 40 or something. Against Min Min, there's like 50 of these, and I couldn't even like properly like describe them. But like if you ever see like a good Min Min replay, you'll like know it when you see it. It's like, oh dang, they really shouldn't have jumped there. And then there's another time where they'll get punished for not jumping. So it's like, what do you do? And it's like, I don't know, man. um, but character specifics like this section generally is more about focusing on the opponents, knowing the different matchups, knowing what different characters can or can't do to punish you in disadvantage. Like characters like Zero Suit, because she has a very high jump, very low commitment up air, she can actually go up and juggle you pretty reliably and have very little to worry about if you air dodge through it, right? So like that's just another thing to worry about, is that like some characters are going to be more uh brave in challenging you in the air, or brave challenging you off stage. That's another thing I didn't put here, is that some characters are very good at edge guarding. Some are very, very good at ledge trapping. Some are good at both, but some characters have a preference, right? Like let's say a character like Fox. Fox, it's not that he can't edge guard. You know, he has nair. He can do weak nair to cover some things. Maybe he's crazy and is going for shine spike. Maybe he somehow hits a back air, a move with a million years of end lag and not that many active frames. On a character with no airspeed, right? But other than that, it's like, how can he edgeguard? He kind of doesn't. So instead, Fox should rely on his crazy ledge trapping. On the contrary, you have a character like Bayonetta. Bayonetta has an amazing offstage edgeguard because she can hold her aerials. Um, so really good gimp tool. Her up B has a lot of priority and kind of sends people away. So up B in general is a very good edgeguard tool. She can also combo people, I assume, I guess. I don't know. And then on ledge, it's not that she's bad at ledge trapping, but I would imagine she's worse. Maybe this is a made up one, but you see what I'm saying? Like different characters have different priorities, different specifics, where sometimes you need to make a decision. Uh, but yeah. And then you have knowing your own character's strengths and abilities. This is where Sephiroth really comes into play because Sephiroth is a character that has, in my opinion, one of the best disadvantages in the game. Not only does he have, with Wing, better mobility, like a triple jump, and like better movement stats, but he also has like a whole bunch of cancels. He has so many B reverses, so many different ways to just move the character around, so many different ways to threaten things, so many different ways to recover. On top of his like good airspeed, so he can even mix up his air drift in most situations. So yeah. And then you have well, I wrote this ledge documentary or this ledge document a while ago, and it talks a lot about different ledge options. I'll go through it really quickly. And then I'm going to take a break before we get into the VOD review. So the first thing about ledge is that timings are more important than your ledge options. So generally, there's four ledge timings. You have instant, which is usually bad. Uh, you have as soon as you run out of iframes. You have longer than most people hold ledge, or you wait for them to do something. And then you have just wait. So instant is bad because you don't take advantage of iframes. This is the most predictable timing, and at that point, it doesn't matter what option you pick if they are ledge trapping effectively. This is good only if you think you'll be ledge trumped, because you can't be ledge trumped during your 20-something frame ledge grab animation. And you can always buffer a ledge option, so if you do, then you can't get ledge trumped. That is like the only situation I could think of that this is good. Another one, like not if you're being ledge trumped, but if they are off stage and you're on the ledge and you want to get to roll distance, then you can, you know, ledge roll and you're fine instantly. Another thing, real quick, is this was mostly made for min-mins in mind, so I will be changing things to be more general as we go. You have as soon as you run out of iframes. The thing about this is that ledge iframes rely on two things: percent and airtime. You have more iframes at lower percents, and you get more by being in the air for longer. As Min Min or any tether character, you can hang with your tether to get more iframes. This can still be predictable, blah blah blah. But so this doesn't matter if you do a ledge drop, because yeah. So that's basically what this one is. This is another pretty predictable ledge timing, is as soon as you run out of iframes, but it can still be very good. Because all ledge options have frame one invincibility. So if you do grab the ledge, wait until you run out of iframes, and then you pick a frame one invincible ledge option, you're invincible for most of that, and it gives them only a very small window throughout all of these different animations for you to be hit. And then you have longer than people think slash wait, and this kind of covers, you know, kind of both of these at once. But this one is kind of a knowledge check. A vital part of ledge trapping is being able to threaten ledge hang in a meaningful way. Common ways to punish ledge hang being strong grounded moves that hit ledge, like Bayonetta down smash, Kazuya down smash, Lucas down smash, Cloud dash attack, Cloud limit blade beam, quick spikes like King K. Rool's down air, and ledge trumps. These are especially dangerous for us because Min Min's head ledge hang is far from the best, while in the Sephiroth example, Sephiroth has one of the best ledge hangs. So more often than not, you want to be, as Sephiroth, mixing up waiting on ledge with ledge drop double jumps as well as just ledge jumps and more that I'll get into in a minute. All ledge options are frame 1 invincible, and you can't trump someone out of a ledge option. If they hit you with a weak move during ledge hang, if you're even at 5%, it's usually not a big deal as long as you don't recover dumb. You can hang with tether, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now that we have the ledge timings out of the way, we can go to ledge options. So you have jump, neutral, attack, roll, drop, wait. That's pretty much it. There is technically a secret one that is right here, but we'll get to that when we get there. So jump is generally considered the best ledge option in general. It's the fastest and it's unreactable. If we look at frame data on stats, we go to ledge options, ledge stats, ledge jump. Almost every character's ledge jump is the same except for Pikachu, Duck Hunt, Squirtle, Pichu. So every other character, they're invincible from frames 1 through 12. And then on frames 13 and 14, they can be hit. And on frame 15, they are actionable. So say I'm Min Min. I do a ledge jump into my fastest option, which would be a frame 3 air dodge. I'm only able to be hit on frames 13 and 14 from the ledge jump, and then 15 and 16 from the startup of my air dodge. So there's only 4 frames where ledge jump, neutral, air dodge can be hit, for example. I actually have another video here on my channel about that one specifically. I'll also have that down in the description. So, but that's basically the gist of it, is that ledge jump, like you look at roll, like roll is a 45 frame animation for every character in the game. Neutral get up is 34 for almost every character in the game. There's obviously some outliers that are 1 or 2 frames faster, right? But 34 frames for neutral get up, where only frame 34 is vulnerable. Ledge attack is just terrible. It's always 55 frames, so it's twice as long as neutral get up and like 4 times longer than ledge jump. Ledge get up attack is overall terrible. There's certain times where it's good, like if you have a super long get up attack like Bowser or Link, or I guess some of these guys, but even then, like I'm only relying on these really good ones, like these S plus double S tier. And even then, like it's not even that good. We'll get to it when we get there. But ledge jump is the best option because it is the fastest and it's unreactable. Ultimate has an inherent 6 frame input delay. So you need to add 6 frames to whatever your normal reaction time is. Average human reaction time to visuals is about a quarter second, 250 milliseconds, and that is about 15 frames. So with the 6 frames of input delay, that comes to about 20 frames, 21 frames. So anything that's faster than 21 frames is inherently unreactable. And as we talked about, ledge jumps are 14 frames. I'll bring it up here. So another thing about Sephiroth specifically is he has a very, very strange ledge. So if you look at like how he grabs ledge, right? Like this is just his ledge hang, right? He's just here. He's invincible, and he's like flashing white, as you can see. And he's like holding on to ledge, right? So if I didn't have ledge invincibility on, you wouldn't be able to see my frame 1. But this is my frame 1 of my neutral getup. Okay, it looks the same as his ledge hang, so that's frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, frame 5, frame 6, frame 7. maybe you can react to that. Frame 8, frame 9. Frame 9's like the first time we actually have a difference. So in reality, the first 8 frames aren't really going to be reacted to. So you have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's first frame of vulnerability, and now you can shield on that frame. Right? So that's neutral get up. Now we have get up attack. So if I do get up attack, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 4 frames. So that leaves the other 51 frames, right? Okay, now we're going to do ledge jump, right? So we're going to hit up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the first 4 frames of that 14 frame animation are practically unreactable. I guess maybe if he doesn't have ledge invincibility to when he starts flashing from the frame 1 invincibility of the ledge option, that's something, but that is also not the case if you are picking an option as soon as you run out of ledge invincibility, because you'll still be flashing, going from flashing to not be, or to still being flashing. So basically that makes this a 10 frame option. Also, this is like his neutral air dodge. It doesn't look like all that much at the start of it. If I just do ledge jump, like, you're seeing that too, right? Where it's like, this is him in the air, and then I'm gonna air dodge in this frame. 1. Oh, that's directional air dodge. Okay, so I'm gonna air dodge in this frame, so that's 1. I guess you can kind of tell just by the pose, but you know what I'm saying. Basically, that's like the gist of it, is that Sephiroth has some crazy ledge options because he kind of starts the animation late. Let's see. Yeah. So this is important because it makes Sephiroth's ledge options harder to react to. It makes it more difficult for people to effectively ledge trap him, especially when you also consider his double jump, his triple jump, and like just all of his other crazy options, like his fair, he has the cancelable specials, all these things. But you have ledge jump. With Min Min, she has a bad ledge jump because of her arms, so you want to do a nair to hitbox shift. Let's see. Ledge jump delayed directional air dodge down. Okay, so this one is pretty interesting. So this one is cool because there's a lot of characters where, like, they can react to neutral getup or roll, or like it was Sonic's, I think, was the person that was in the example. It was like a video I saw, and it was just talking about like this weird niche ledge option, and I figured I may as well put it in the document. But basically what you do is you ledge jump and then like directional air dodge down. You don't want to do it instantly, or because then you have like this 20 frames of lag. Like, this shield is the first frame I'm able to do anything. So like, that's a very, very slow down tilt. So instead, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be directional air dodge. And like, it basically gives you a neutral get up with a different timing. I don't know. There's a use for that. I could not tell you exactly what it is. But that is ledge jump into delayed directional air dodge down. You have neutral get up. Very overrated, even though there's only 1 frame where you can be hit. Most players that know anything about ledge trapping can cover this with their eyes closed, but it can be a good mix-up, and it can be a safe option. But it isn't that hard to cover. If you've ever heard of the tri-state twister, this one is pretty cool. So basically what it is like, say you're ledge trapping, right? And it's like, oh, they're going to neutral get up. I'm going to roll in and then grab them. And most characters, if they roll into the ledge, like they'll end up behind most people as they're doing neutral get up. This depends on the character that you're playing and the character that they're playing, because sometimes they'll end up behind you. Like, say if I push Peach here off stage. Bam. Bam. Then I can do that. That's the tri-state twister, is where you roll into the ledge and then grab them. I guess you don't have to grab them, but maybe you do. I don't know. But that's the gist of that. But yeah, neutral get up kind of sucks, but it can be good because it lets you do neutral get up into whatever the hell you want, whether it's a quick attack or a different grounded option like shield or something. I don't know. Get up attack, worst option by far. You should only ever do it if they're charging a smash attack at ledge. And this can also be another move that is really good for ledge traps, like Corrin forward smash. Ness Yo-Yo is another good one. Link's bomb hanging out the ledge. Sometimes you can get up attack this, but Link can still punish you. It's just that he has to pick a different option for you hitting the bomb, which is either hitting a bomb or exploding a bomb or going and hitting you. But it is something that like you have to kind of like knowledge check people Links on, where it's like, okay, are you ready for me to hit this bomb? Uh, I don't know. There's times where get up attack can be good, but most of the time it sucks and it's not going to be good. And for most characters, you're better off doing ledge drop, double jump attacks, anyways. Ledge roll. This one is pretty good because of just the general stats. So if we look at Sephiroth's roll, he is intangible 1 through 27. So that means that he has 18 frames of end lag at the end of his ledge roll. I mentioned it in the document, but every DLC character has the best ledge roll in the game, except for Joker and Sephiroth and Piranha Plant, if you want to count him. Where it's 1 through 30 is intangible, and then you only have 15 frames of end lag, where Sephiroth is 1 through 27, which is pretty common. Yeah, 1 through 27. So it only has 18 frames of end lag, but it is reactable. Although, wait, let me double check the frame date, because did I check that a second ago? Okay, so ledge roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6 or 7 frames before like you're actually reactable in going to your ledge roll. So that means a plus 21 frames. Let's say it's frame 6 is when you can be reacted to for ledge roll, because again, like that frame 6 or frame 7, they don't know if that's ledge roll. Like there's no indication if you're rolling or jumping or attacking or doing neutral get up or whatever. Like they know you're doing something, but you don't know what Sephiroth's doing. So realistically it's a little bit later, but even then you have the next 15 frames, the next quarter second, to react to the fact that Sephiroth is rolling, where you can still react in time and punish a roll. And Sephiroth is still like not in a great position at the end of his ledge roll. Like look at this. Like this is not like a great distance for a ledge roll. I'm trying to shield frame 1 here. Okay, now I'm shielding. Yeah. Like all of that is end lag, where you can just hit Sephiroth during his ledge roll. So while it can be better than a lot of ledge rolls, it's still a ledge roll. It's still not great. It doesn't have great distance. It has a lot of lag, but it is a pretty good, decent option. But yeah, that's ledge roll. You can sometimes do stuff like ledge roll into a quick down smash if your character has a two-sided quick down smash like Falco, Min Min, or something else like maybe a jab. Ledge roll is also something that most people have to specifically cover. So I actually am also going to put this in the description, but it's an old video of let's see, I think it's yeah, it was in this playlist I have, uh, and it's this video right here by Mikey D, where he's just talking about how to dominate the ledge and how MK Leo kind of he like defaults to covering roll distance because if someone rolls to ledge and you catch that, then it's good because if they do something else, they're still in the corner. But if you're trying to catch a neutral get up and they roll, all of a sudden they're on stage, right? So when you're ledge trapping, you gotta prioritize focusing on the roll. Is basically what this video comes down to. Then you have ledge drop, and from there you can do all of your ledge drop options. These are Min Min specific. The thing about ledge drop is that you always want to tap away, not down. Because if you tap down, then you fast fall. So if you fast fall, it just puts you further away from the ledge, which is not good. You always want to tap away. Uh, there's certain things where you need to just be aware, I guess. Let me see if I can set it up. Also, I need to... Okay, usually if your character has multiple double jumps, they turn around for their double jump, but I guess because Sephiroth normally has one jump, it doesn't turn him around, even if you're holding full in. So, like, a character like, say, Kirby could, like, do a... Well... Like, he could do ledge drop here, and then his jump could be, like, directed the other way, so that it turns him around, and then he's jumping on stage with a back air instead of a forward air. That is something that could happen. But at the same time, with Sephiroth, you can kind of do that with a B reverse. Let me see if I can get it. I almost got it. It's hard to get that triple jump. Jeez. Okay, I gotta get that timing down. Oh my gosh. Like that. Jeez, that was hard. But yeah, you get the picture. You get the picture. But yeah, you can do ledge drop, double jump, ledge drop, B reverse, jump cancel, double jump back air to get on stage with Sephiroth if you have wing. That is something you can do. I can't say it's a good option or that much better than forward air because back air has more landing lag to my knowledge. Let me actually triple check that. Back air has 16 frames of end lag. Yeah, it's literally laggier. And it's less active. Back air's only active for 2 frames. Forward air's active for like 6 frames. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. Like forward air's more active and it has less lag. And it's safer on shield. Yeah, like this is just better. But yeah. Um Again, Min specific. At the end of the day, I like to threaten them with my options until they respect them. Then I'm more freely able to use my safest options like ledge jump, nair as Min. This is something I talked about over here again, where with your intent, while you can and should have reversals, it should not be what your disadvantage is built on. You can argue that this is built on it's built on reversals. I would argue that the intent isn't to use those attacks to get reversals, but for them to start respecting my options. And that's the point I'm trying to drive home there. The most important thing to remember when getting off ledge: being on the ledge isn't that bad. You're in a bad spot, yeah, but you're not dead. So don't act so uncomfortable. Learn to deal with being in a bad spot and flex your creativity. Relax a little. As well as remember how bad it is always relies on the opponent. You need to be able to know what they're looking for and what will get you killed and what timings they're covering, as well as if they are reacting or predicting. Like this one is huge, and if there's any one thing you should get out of this video, it's this little paragraph right here. Uh, for example, you should never jump against Banjo because his forward air is such an easy move to throw out there that just kills you for ledge jumping. Or Terry, if he does a rising short hop dare, you just get spiked and die. It also auto cancels, so there's not really any landing lag to punish. Or he could also double jump before he hits the ground and do a second downer. Like there's so many things that Terry can do out of short hops, especially when his ledge trapping. It's crazy. So like if he does this short hop dare and you instead go for I don't know, a get up attack, he could still hit you with so many things as he's landing because he doesn't have landing lag because it auto cancels. This is all part of learning matchups, and this is something what ones you definitely don't want to be on ledge against, what they can do. Another one is me Gunner. If you get off the ledge against her, it means they screwed up. They have the tools to always cover every ledge option always. So in situations like those, lean into options that you do have and focus on making their job harder. All these people do is ledge trap, right? So they're gonna have more experience ledge trapping you than you will have getting off ledge against them. So to get out, you need to do something that most people don't or won't. And that leans back into flex your creativity. But yeah, that's like the gist of that. So the first set that we're gonna get into is from about a week ago. It's Fusion 278 Grand Finals. Sinister's Ken against Tweak's Mark or Sephiroth. Something to note is that Sinister also switches to Ryu later in the set. There's a couple things I just watched casually throughout the set, but I didn't really ever focus on any one thing, anything like that. I'm gonna make this into the next video, so yeah, that's it for this one.